Hello dandelions, welcome to an episode of Tea and Tarot. During an episode of Tea and Tarot, I sip tea and I sling cards because those are two things that I do better than just about anything else in the world. So I'm very happy to be back doing an episode for this series after 6 fucking months. 6 months it's been, my darling, since I did anything for this series. So that's kind of wild. I am feeling like crap today, I'll be completely honest. I'm not in a good place, and I've been wanting to do an episode of Tea and Tarot for a while, and I was thinking this morning, what should I do this episode about? What would be helpful to people? What have I got in me that I really could, give of myself with? And I thought, well, what about something for me? What would I like most of all? If I was going to sling cards for myself today, what would my subject be? And my subject would frankly be like, how do I deal with this planet? Like, how can I get some support and some stabilizing mindset and some encouragement and some hope during this ridiculously atrocious time in the human story, where I feel like I'm losing my fucking banana, like I'm going out of my bird, guys. And I know that a lot of you are feeling the same. I know that a lot of you are really sort of consciously witnessing that sort of dance that's happening between your activism and your apathy, between being switched on, figuring things out, being in your productivity, being in your power, and then like having to numb out and having to understand when it's time to rest, and maybe overshooting with whatever it is you're doing and what you're coping with, and then finding that, it's emergency rest. It's basically burnout. So having to kind of figure out and arrange everything in that sense, and not being able to stop the horrors that are unfolding and the difficulties that are taking place for so many people, and the really big glaring issues, the burning planet, the genocides, the desperate lack of equality in so many ways, the ill treatment of people just simply for being who they are and what they are. That really is so dense and so oppressive on the spirit. And I know in many ways that it would be far worse for me. It would be unconscionable for me, and it would be incredibly achy and awful for me if I was not invested in these things to one degree or another. If I decided to check out permanently and I didn't care about these things, I just decided not to care and not to be a witness to any of it, I know that would be infinitely worse for me. I'm not going to do that. That's not my bag, baby. But then on the other hand, if I'm gonna be conscious and I'm going to be a part of this, how to do that in a healthy way, how to make sure that I continue to check in with myself and give myself what I might need at any given point. And I think tarot has a lot to do with that, sitting with my cards, sipping some tea, and really just getting some messages that are comforting to me or useful to me, good reminders, good cautionary messages. All that kind of thing is what I want to talk about today. So grab a beverage, okay? Grab a notebook if you want to, so you can make some notes about what comes up. The tea that I'm drinking today for this Tea and Tarot episode is actually not tea. It is a grotesquely thick sort of mocha concoction that I created out of vegan chocolate powder, coffee, sugar, and lots of oat milk. I have absolutely no regrets. It is sweet as all get out, my loves. I'm going to be bouncing off the shitting walls by the time this video finishes. I don't know what I think I'm doing. That is ridiculously sweet. There's just no excuse for it, and I love it. That is what I needed. That is exactly what I needed, my loves. So grab what it is that you may need, okay? Get a cup or glass of something. And let's get into this. So that's the topic we're going to be looking at. I'm going to draw 3 cards. They're going to be cards that don't have positions. I'm just going to let whatever comes through. As anyone will know, if you've had a reading from me, I do not normally work that way unless I'm doing a sacred patchwork reading. All of my readings usually have positions, but I think for Tea and Tarot we can be a little bit experimental, go outside what is my usual comfort zone. And what's really important to remember about Tea and Tarot episodes, my darlings, is that In no way is this a personalized reading. The magic really happens with personalized readings over at my online store. Okay. Now, at my online store, you can get a whole host of different things. There's loads of readings to choose from. There's loads of mentoring options. You can work with me one-on-one in a way that I try to always keep affordable. And you can really sort of come back and work with me as and when. You can get one reading and it can be one and done, or you can get ongoing mentoring, whatever you feel like. But there's a couple of things I want to let you guys know if you do want to work with me around tarot. The first thing is that I do offer a true card slinger reading. So if you want to come and work with me one-on-one around your relationship with the cards, the type of reader that you are, different ways to improve, what your blocks might be when it comes to reading cards, go over to my store, grab a true card slinger reading. Don't be shy, give it a try. I have just spontaneously decided at the exact time of filming this, my loves, that I'm going to give a discount on the True Card Slinger. I'm going to put it on sale. So when you click over to the True Card Slinger option, it will be on sale. So if you like it and you vibe with the spread positions, add to cart, because I'm going to put it on sale for a few days, I think up until the end of the month or so. And there's also another way you can work with me. I do offer card slinger sessions. So we actually can have a chat. We can, I can mentor you essentially. I've done this with so many clients and it's always a riveting time. I can give you either a single card slinger session where I'll answer all of your questions. You can pick my brain about what is going wrong with your tarot study, what is confusing you, or you can come for ongoing guidance. Okay. So just putting it out there, if you want one-to-one magic, if you want something personalized, you can look at any of the readings that I have at the online store. If you specifically want to look at your tarot sort of skill set, you can grab True Card Slinger, but there's so many different readings at the online store, my babes. So go over there, and if you want to really get into your card slinger relationship, the card slinger sessions are for you. I'm going to leave specifically the links to the things I've just mentioned down below. Okay. So yes, bear in mind when it comes to tea and tarot, this is general. This is not tailored. This is not specific. I do not know what you are going through personally. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to gather up some messages from the cards that we can all sit around and consider. This is about contemplation. It's about a meaty way, an interesting different way for you to learn the cards. And it's really about all taking what resonates for us individually, leave the rest. Okay, take what resonates, leave the rest. I know it's really overdone to say that, but there's a reason we keep saying it, and it's because it's really how we should use any wellness advice or tarot advice that we see online that is given from a generalized perspective. In other words, it's not directed to any specific individual. So please keep that in mind. I will show you cutaways of all of the cards. That always happens in my tea and tarot episodes these days. So I'm going to draw 3 cards, and then as I'm talking about them, I will show you the cutaway so you can really get a sense of what is going on with the art. And you're going to be really, really pleased that I'm doing that in this episode, my darlings, because the deck that I'm using is the only deck that I bought in 2023. One deck I bought in 2023, and it was the Wandering Star Tarot by Kat Pierce. And I love it. My darlings, I love it. I'm crazy for it. I bought it for myself as a birthday gift, and it is so stunning. Let me show you a few cards. It's just so sweet. I know that everybody's taste when it comes to tarot style is really different, but maybe a few of you will really like this. Look at the backings. So gorgeous. You will have seen them on the thumbnail. The backings are so me. So this is the star. That beautiful stained glass vibe. So, so gorgeous. I absolutely love this. This is the Hierophant. Look at this guy. He doesn't give you that strict cardinal vibe, does he? He doesn't give you that like mean bishop vibe. Oh, 6 of Cups is just adorable. Look at that connection there. Really pretty. So yeah, I just really love this deck. I just felt, you know what? If I'm going to treat myself to anything, it's going to be this one. Look at this Page of Swords. This Page of Swords means business. Very earnest, very sincere. Really looks like they're making some kind of oath, you know. So I just love this one. It's playful, but it's, it's not novel. It's not like, it's not silly. It's not light-hearted. It's got real substance to it. And you will notice when I show you the cutaways, my darlings, that there are key words that are incorporated into every card. So here with Knight of Pentacles, for example, you've got the key words up there. You see them along here. And the key words for Knight of Pentacles are prosperity, benefits, investments. So yeah, you see the keywords sort of incorporated, if you will, into all of the cards. Here with the World, it's kind of like around the outlay there. So yeah, I'm going to use the Wandering Star Tarot. Let's go ahead and just try and get some comfort, some wisdom, some stabilizing messages to help us make sure that we can stay locked into our intention, locked into our integrity. Make sure that if we're not going to be checking out, which I know I'm not going to be, I want to keep going with my activism. I want to keep serving my clients. I want to keep checking in with my own bereavement journey whilst also being a part of the wider world. I want to care about the planet. I want to care about marginalized groups. I want to give a shit about all of this collective work that still needs to be done. I want to use my platform for that. I want to use my free time for that. I want to use my money for that. So if that's my decision, how can I make sure I'm also okay? How can I make sure in this moment, as I'm really struggling and I'm feeling so angry and I'm feeling so helpless to change anything, I'm having one of those days, you know? And so if I'm having one of those days, what is the wisdom from the cards? And hopefully if you can relate to what I'm saying right now and you need this as well, then these cards will also work for you. This kind of experience of doing tea and tarot is really interesting because the interpretations that come up, obviously there is a plethora, there's a spectrum of different interpretations with each card in the deck. But what comes through for me when I do tea and tarot in many ways is like what happens with a one-to-one reading, where I intuitively feel into the meanings that need to come through from that card. You know, I'm not giving you a list of definitions here. I'm not giving you a fucking Rolodex of things like everything that I know about the card. No, I'm feeling into the specific energy that we need as a collective right now around this topic, and I'm giving that to you. So there's something about that that's really awesome. I made myself feel a bit better before I even switched the camera on today, my loves, by just dressing a little playfully. You know, I've got my lemons in. I'm trying to make myself feel better already. I was going to get the glitter out as well, do a like kind of glitter eye look, and then I was like, you know what? I love dressing up playfully when I feel like crap. When I feel like shit on a stick, some bright clashing colours will do the job, you know, flower in the hair, all of that. But at the same time, let me not go too crazy because I don't think I can deal with glitter later in my makeup removal routine. I just can't. All right, my darlings, let's fucking do this. Let's go. Okay, so the first of the three cards that we're going to look at that's going to give us some wisdom to be able to cope, knowing that the planet just has such a long fucking way to go, my darlings. And it's all very, very depressing sometimes. First of the three cards that we're being given messages from is Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords has come up. Look at this Queen of Swords. Oh, you know what? It's time for the cutaway. So you will see now the cutaway to this Queen of Swords. Very beautiful. Again, with that stained glass vibe, which is just incredibly gorgeous to behold. And the key words there are strength, ambition, truth. And you can see it repeated over the arch of the throne there. Strength, ambition, truth. Twice over with the eyes either side. I don't know if you can see those beautiful eyes there on either side of the throne as well. So there is really that sense of truth and that sense of seeing things clearly and looking at things, you know, with sort of that real enhancement of clarity that is so common with Queen of Swords. This queen is such an interesting one to come up for this tea and tarot, about how to deal with the collective pain in the sense of how much is wrong with the planet. Because Queen of Swords is my favourite of the four queens and the one that I feel that I most often relate to. I just have a very, very close bond with her. So it's particularly interesting for me that this queen should come up. And the first thing that I'm thinking of, because this queen is so close to the way that I perceive myself and the way that I particularly perceive a lot of the strong things about myself, is that I think I'm being asked, and by extension you are being asked, to honour the fact that you want to have a relationship with the truth at all, to honour the fact that you are willing to look and to not turn away, that you're willing to be involved in that honesty that can be brutal, that can be painful, that can be challenging, and that is not comfortable. Queen of Swords is, I think, very much a warrior queen, She knows that there are some things that she needs to look at and she needs to look into and she needs to confront that are not actually pleasurable, and that's not the point of them. So there's not a running away. This queen is actually very connected to the truth that is cold and hard and harsh and bloody and real and gritty. And so I think the first thing that's coming through, knowing that Queen of Swords is the first of the 3 cards, is self-honoring. Appreciate about yourself the fact that you are looking at the world, that you are seeing it burning, that you are witnessing things that are wrong, that you are witnessing wounds that require medicine, and it is hard, and yet you do not look away. You are a witness. And you are thinking about, you're really using the clarity of mind to think, what can I do? What is my next action in this situation? What is my next move in this fight? What can I bring to the table? Which is very Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is a strategist. Queen of Swords is a logician. Queen of Swords is someone that's like, right, okay, what are my priorities? Let me write things down. Let me get very clear about the substance of the thing that it is that I think and what it is that I want to do about that. So there is very much this sense of wanting to be unfettered. In other words, wanting to have little distraction, wanting to know what I think, clarity of mind, and what I'm going to do, clarity of action, and wanting to have as little distance between those 2 things as possible. So it's really it's asking you to appreciate the purity of your intention and the fact that you're not running away from that intention. So take a moment just to honor yourself for even needing advice on this subject, because if you need advice around this, if you need to understand how to operate in a healthy way whilst also being a part of the world, it means that you're not running. It means that you witness that your spiritual path and your path of selfhood, your path of integrity needs to involve the world. It needs to involve you being a part of what is taking place on the planet, and trying to do that, yes, in a healthy way, in a sturdy way, in a measured way that also considers yourself and your other issues, but you're not willing to just drop it. You want to be in your strength and in your integrity to be able to figure out, how do I deal with it, rather than how do I run from it? How do I hide from it? How do I give it up? How do I walk away? How do I turn my back? No, your inner Queen of Swords is present. And that means that you're not going to do that. You would far rather find the right weaponry for this battle than to walk away from the battle and leave it to others. And so I think this is a big moment for self-honouring. I think the fact that this queen has come through is giving you some credit for even needing to have answers in this regard, because it means you're being brave, you're showing up, you're witnessing, you're being very honest. And it is that brutal honesty, it is that painful honesty that you need to try and find the strength and the focus and the measured wherewithal and the strength of mind to be able to keep going with, because you have made that commitment. I think of Queen of Swords as a queen of oaths, a queen of loyalty. And I don't think that's in an overtly emotional way necessarily. It's just because it's what needs to be done. There isn't a question. If you think about Queen of Swords in the same regard as we would think about maybe Joan of Arc, and as many of you will know, I'm very close to Saint Joan of Arc. I literally have an image of her on my altar, and I always have. I, in fact, bought a new one fairly recently that I'm hoping to be able to showcase to you guys when I do my new altar tour that is coming. I want to let you into my magical realm a little bit again soon. I've worked with Joan of Arc for a long time, and Joan of Arc always taps me in to that strength that makes me certain that I do not choose delusion, that if there's something that needs to be done, I'm going to do it. I knew that this tea and tarot would make me emotional. So I think honouring yourself is important. Just witness how fucking cool it is that there are things that you could choose actually to not engage with, to sort of dance away from, but you know that isn't right somehow. You know that you've got more in you than that. That is powerful, my loves. That is fucking powerful. And so you are being given a mirror of your power. It is a reflection of your power. Let Queen of Swords be that for you today. And if you're kind of thinking, well, Kellyanne, I don't feel like I'm being in my Queen of Swords, I actually don't feel that I'm activating and operating in that manner, then again, the card is a mirror though. The card is a mirror because it's showing you have that in you. You have within you the ability to be able to say, I'm rocking up for this. You know, I need to train myself up. I need to get my shit together. I need to decide what role I'm going to play and what that's going to mean. But I am absolutely RSVPing to this. You know, if you're going to be there, I'm going to be there. Let's do this, and let's not worry about who's not going to be there. They'll come at some point or not, but this is my commitment. You have the ability to do that. You have the ability to make a commitment today that is about something that is beyond you, something that is more collective than it is personal, something that is an oath that you know in your cells makes you feel like the better version of you, makes you feel like the version that is in the right. I think Queen of Swords is so honourable, and she does the hard thing. When Queen of Swords is operating consciously, when she's operating in an illuminated fashion, when she's in the active state rather than the passive state, she is honour personified. She is not going to just turn tail and switch sides and make things easy and choose the thing that is, you know, kind of comfortable. And neither is that seagull. That seagull means it, all right? It's February and it's cold, and that seagull is skyward, freaking out, okay? Committing a verbal assault on every other gull in the sky. It's in battle mode, that seagull, okay? Let's respect that seagull. That seagull is definitely in their Queen of Swords today. Queen of Swords reminds us that we are strong and we are resilient. Queen of Swords reminds us of our power and our potency. And I think that that's really, really wonderful to come up. I also want to say that Queen of Swords obviously does sort of know her mind. So this is a card that is very much about mental clarity and about feeling righteous in one's point of view. Now, one thing that I want to say, my darlings, for a lot of people recently, especially those of us who are really activating around Palestine right now, you know, Palestine in particular, that situation, that whole situation is, for absolutely ridiculous reasons, extremely contentious for a lot of people. I'm speaking to an increasing amount of people recently, both personally and professionally, who are struggling with showing up, being in their activism, being in their sense of right action, and losing people as a result, having arguments with people as a result, losing clients, losing followers, losing friends, having family members contact them out of nowhere and say, I saw what you put on your social media and I'm not fucking happy with you. Okay, so all of that fallout is taking place. Queen of Swords, therefore, is a particularly interesting card to come up in this particular tea and tarot, because Queen of Swords, when Queen of Swords knows her mind, she knows her mind. She will not stray from the point of what it is that she's doing in order to make other people comfortable, in order to accommodate them, in order to be part of the crowd, in order to feel that she is invited to every party and that she's not offending anyone. One of the shadows of Queen of Swords, one of the things that people fear about Queen of Swords is her directness, her bluntness, her willingness to say what the fuck it is that she is saying, you know, without apology and without addendums and compromises and caveats and gentle padding. No, she does not feel necessarily the need to manage everybody else's emotions and the need to manage her reputation so that everybody feels like they're, you know, she's okay by them. There is a coldness to Queen of Swords, and sometimes that can be really shadowy, but sometimes it's necessary, because that coldness is the willingness to keep going with what she considers to be right, with her thoughts and her beliefs, her ethics, you know, without being waylaid by the feeling that, you know, she needs to give someone some comfort over here, reassure someone over there, pull back from what she's doing in order not to offend this person. And that's why I say that I think of Queen of Swords as a queen of oaths and loyalty, because I think that when she means something, she fucking means it, and she does not turn tail, and she does not back down, and she does not apologize. Yes, that can be very unpleasant to be around sometimes, but it's usually unpleasant to be around for those who want her to make some compromises. They want her to back down. They want her to apologize. They want her to be small in her beliefs, in her activism, in her sense of self, in her sense of righteous indignation. And she won't do that. And that's one of the main things that loses her friends. But she knows that it's worth it. There is a bigger picture. There is something deeper and something far more far-reaching, and something that is beyond her own legacy or her own sense of comfortability. And that's why, again, it's that Joan of Arc feeling sometimes that I get from Queen of Swords. And that's what's really coming through for me today. That feeling of like, I have to do this, you know, like, I just know that this is not something I can turn away from. It's not something that I can make you feel better about, you know, by changing course or by, you know, being polite about it. It is what it is. This is how the fuck I feel. This is what the fuck I'm doing now. You're either with me or you're moving out of my way, please. Please and thank you. There's something very strong, very determined. There's a lot of backbone in this queen. I don't know why I always say backbone. I mean, like it's an English colloquialism, right? In the English language, you say someone's got backbone to mean that they've got guts and they're strong and they're, you know, but like I have a fucking back injury, guys. So every time I say that someone's got some backbone or I'm trying to have some backbone, I'm like, my backbones are screwed. But anyway, let's move on to the second of the three cards. Queen of Swords is a very, very strong start though. Super powerful card. And I think in terms of comfort and in terms of looking at mindset, you know, that sort of main thing that comes through for me with that particular queen is like the mirror showing me my own strength, my resilience, my endurance, my sense of rightness, my sense of, you know, that I know what I think and I know what I feel needs to happen and I will not be waylaid and I cannot be like deterred and I will not kowtow, basically. So let's have a look at the second of the three cards, my darlings. Second of the three cards with messages for us when dealing with like this burning, terrible planet sometimes, right? Like, I'm just going to be straight up with you. That's how I fucking feel today, okay? That's why this is the topic for this episode. Of all the many topics I'm still yet to cover in my Tea and Tarot episodes, this is the one we're going with, all right? So you know I'm feeling it. 9 of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. That's a really, really interesting card to come through. And I will show you the cutaway for 9 of Pentacles now from Wandering Star Tarot. This is really beautiful. You've got that gorgeous peace dove. You know, it's usually a bird of paradise on the bird of paradise or bird of prey, I would say, that is usually on the arm or the wrist of the figure in 9 of Pentacles. But in this particular deck, it looks to me like a dove, a really beautiful, big, dark-eyed dove. And the sort of the statement words, the key words, if you will, in this card are comfort, accomplishment, prosperity, and stability. Those are the 4 key words there. Really, really beautiful interpretation of the card. And it does look like the garden is under a night sky, which is a really interesting thing to see in this position, in this card imagery, sorry, is that night sky vibe, you know. You do not usually see that with 9 of Pentacles. It looks like she's taking a lone walk through the garden at night, whereas usually you feel like there is this kind of exhibitionism with 9 of Pentacles, as though you're being invited for a tour of the garden, you know? Whereas with this, it feels like a much more intimate, soft portrayal of somebody just walking at night, reflecting, trying to get a sense of comfort. And I think the peace dove, the fact that the dove is a symbol of peace, let's say, is really, really potent, really poignant when it comes to looking at this particular topic. So with 9 of Pentacles, I really think one of the things that comes through for me so much is that first keyword. Was it the first keyword on there? The word comfort? Yeah, the word comfort is the first of the 4 keywords that is on that card. Usually with 9 of Pentacles, a lot of people are looking at the theme of success, and that would be one of the key themes I would look at too. But I prefer with this particular iteration of the card and with this specific topic to think instead not about material success, but more about material comfort, and thinking about how we can weave that in to our day and into the structure of the routine. And I think it's about simple comfort, you know, this beautiful image of this being, this figure kind of just walking in the garden alone, reflecting, you know, in a rather lovely kind of gown there. You know, I feel like there's something there that is that beauty of the simplicity of simple material comforts, you know, like just the feeling of the wind in your hair or the crispness of the air, the feeling that you're just going to hydrate yourself and you're going to go for a walk and you're just going to be under the stars. You're just going to be gentle with yourself. You're just going to do something that, you know, enriches you without having to cost you loads of money, without having to be something complex that makes you go out of your way to have to attain it. It doesn't have to be a foreign holiday. It doesn't have to be something that has a million steps in order to achieve it. It literally can be you being grateful for and being absorbed in the process of something that is materially comforting. It really enriches or ignites at least one of your five senses. It really puts you in touch gently with your body, not in an intense way, but just in a nice, simple way that helps you to gather yourself back, that helps you to center yourself again. And to feel that sense of sturdiness, you know. For me, I'm thinking about something like a journaling session, a nice cup of hot chocolate or mocha or whatever it is, you know, like a feeling that I'm just going to gently and slowly rearrange my dresser, for example. I was doing that a little bit last night, and it was just giving me this sense of sturdiness, of just like knowing where my stuff was, putting my things away, rearranging, doing a bit of cleaning, just gently, not because I'm annoyed with myself that my dresser got out of control, but because it would be nice to see it in a bit of an order and have a sense of what's there and where things are, and just putting things back where they are. You know, enjoying an album, just listening to an album that you haven't listened to for a while, making a really simple but very comforting dish, you know, like maybe a salad with a nice dressing or just a bowl of fruit, you know. Maybe you're just going to eat some chocolate with a cup of tea and just sit on the couch and just savor that chocolate. Just really like dig into what is coming up there. There is a particular type of meditation called savoring, where you go through something like drinking a cup of tea or eating a bowl of food, but you do so in this way that allows you to savor everything that's going on with your five senses as that's happening. So you slow it down, you lean into it, you make it into an event, you know. And that's what's really coming up for me with Nine of Pentacles when it comes to really making sure that the pain, the extraordinary pain and the angst and the hopelessness that can sometimes come up at times like this is counterbalanced in a way by that feeling of like coming home to oneself, seeing yourself, your body, your life, your immediate surroundings with some kind of sense of sanctuary. I welcome you to consider what it means right now to have that sense of sanctuary. And when was the last time that you felt a sense of sanctuary? When was the last time that you felt held in some way? You know, whether it was by your own making or whether it was something that came to you because of something that somebody else did or something that came up organically. But how can you snapshot that and then recreate it for yourself in some regard? And like I said, it does not need to be complex. I think Nine of Pentacles can really be about like appreciating and making the most of and elevating what is already there, you know. Just like enjoying your garden, enjoying your journal or your planner, enjoying your favorite cup and the drink that you're pouring into your favorite cup, enjoying trying on a few outfits, just like remembering what you have, you know, rearranging your jewelry, rearranging your collection of whatever it is you collect, you know, just feeling like, okay, this is kind of nicely stabilizing. It's a break from what else is going on for me. It's something that I'm giving to myself that is kind of lowering whatever is going on in the nervous system. It's chilling me out. It's calming me down. And I think part of it is about giving ourselves the permission to have that. You know, if we're looking at the subject of this particular Tea and Tarot episode, it is really about dealing with the fact that the world is batshit fucking bananas. And sometimes we feel like there is really nothing else that we can do. And we feel lost and we feel angry. And we feel like, you know, what the shitting fuck, you know? We can end up sliding down the wall and collapsing into fits of tears about it, right? I know I have. And I'm not worried about that at all. I think that's a massive sign of, you know, being mentally adjusted to feel so concerned about this, right? To feel concerned about all of this is, you know, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. It's not a red flag. It's a green flag. But I think that it's hard in that moment when you feel the extreme pain that so many people are going through, the difficult shit that so many people are undergoing. It's hard to give yourself a permission slip to just fucking enjoy something simple, to just say, okay, what can I get into right now that, you know, takes the pressure off my nervous system, calms me down, it calms my heart rate, it gives me something to focus on. It could have a productive value to it, or maybe not. Maybe it's got more of a creative value to it, but I might not feel it's necessarily getting my task list done, but it's doing something perhaps more important in that moment. It's giving me access to, it's giving me the keys to my sense of solidity within myself. What can I do there? What would be the best thing to do there? I think giving yourself permission for that is difficult. So let's consider Nine of Pentacles as that permission slip that we require, that we were looking for, that we maybe didn't know that we needed. You know, I talked in a previous video, in my my Witchcraft and Activism video, which I'll leave down below if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet and you would like to. I talk in that video at length about the role of guilt when it comes to self-care in relation to activism. And I talk about how that guilt is not useful. It does not help you to sustain the efforts that you're making. It does not put you in touch with your sense of power, because you need to be able to fuel yourself for the fight. You need to be able to give yourself some sustenance to be able to sustain you through whatever it is that you know that you want to do. And so guilt sort of puts all of those things that you need for yourself behind a barrier. And that actually has never been useful for me. I can understand the feeling. I do experience the feeling, but I don't drop anchor there, because I know that it's only going to grind me down and slow me down and burn me out indefinitely. So let's see this card as a permission slip. How can you give yourself access to some simple and gentle embodiment? How can you give at least one of your five senses some pleasure today in some way? How can you experience comfort? How can you experience that sense that you have come home to what might be good, to what might be relieving, to what might be fulfilling in your reality for a while? I feel like this card is about your sense of safety, and it's about the generosity that you feel towards yourself, or that you can exhibit towards yourself. It's about bringing yourself into the love that you are exuding out towards the planet. So what I'm saying is, maybe do not send your love outward, but let it skip over your own head. You know, it's like when you send your love outward into the collective and you think, what can I do? Where can I show up? Who needs me? And what do they need me for? How can I be of service? But the whole time you're maybe skipping over, you know, you're sending your love out, but it's not hitting all of your parts, your inner mystic, your inner artist, your inner wounded child. You know, all of those parts of you are kind of watching this sort of cosmic cascade of love going over their heads, and they're like, do you mind if I oh, okay. And we don't want that, you know. I think that if I am filled with love, and if I'm filled with concern, if I'm filled with compassion, that's good. But if I'm withholding that from myself, from the parts of me that sincerely need it, that's a problem. And Nine of Pentacles is a card of real strength. It's a card of real prosperity. So at no point do I think that this card is saying, oh, you know, don't send your love outwards towards the world. Don't try and help. Don't try and donate. Don't try and protest. Don't try and reach out to people. Don't, you know, give complimentary sessions to people that might need it. Don't do any of those things that you've been doing. Just focus on you. Just bring it back to you. I don't think this card is saying that. I think what this card is saying is, hey, you get to matter as well. You get to have some of that. There's plenty enough inside of you. You are really witnessing the breadth and depth of your great compassion. So why are you not also swimming in it? Why are you not putting yourself into that water of your great compassion? Why are you thirsty? Why are you still on dry land? Get in there, you know, make sure that you cover yourself, that you blanket yourself with that love that you're sending outwards as well. So I don't think it's about like a split decision between, do I get my love and energy and attention, or does the planet get it? You know, do I give it to me, or do I give it to my desire to be of service in the world? No, it can be both. It can be both. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. And you know, thank the gods for that, because I don't want it to be all or nothing. I don't want to have to choose me over my sense that in order to be authentic as me, I have to be helping, I have to be witnessing, I have to be concerned, I have to be in touch with what is happening. I would hate to choose between those two things. And I think this card is telling me that I don't need to, but that it would be highly neglectful of me to not give myself some of this, you know. And of course, like I said, it's fuel, it's sustenance. Don't tell yourself that you don't need it, that you can do without it. You can't do without it. So you have to have those sources of comfort. You have to help yourself by giving yourself access to that stuff. Whenever you feel that you are lacking stability, that you do not feel sturdy, that you're worried about that feeling that you are not upright, that there's a sense that you've lost your power, you've lost your center, that this is all getting too fucking much, just ask yourself, when was the last time you had a real Nine of Pentacles moment? When was the last time you gave yourself access to that solace, that sanctuary, that sense of being connected to your body, that sense of just like listening in, and just giving yourself something that is just simple joy. It's just simple, inexpensive, everyday material joy, but you really savored it and you really showed up for it. When was the last time you did that for yourself? If it's been a while, then do you really have any right to say, like, I don't have access to stability, I'm all over the place, Sure, but you're withholding things from yourself that could make a vital difference. So 9 of Pentacles is really showing up to tell us, like, hey, give yourself a moment like that. Plan that, put that in. Don't tell yourself it should go to the bottom of your list of priorities. It should not. It is there for you. And I think before I move on from this card, my darlings, I just want to say one more thing. Let's see this beautiful white dove here. Let's see this white dove as communion with spirit as well. Sometimes in tarot, I see an animal represented interfacing with a human or having some kind of interaction with a human, which is also an animal species, but a non-human animal, right? I see a non-human animal and I think of connection to the gods. I think of connection to the guides, to the ancestors, to the cosmic wisdom, to the wisdom that is beyond the material sometimes and beyond cognition, right? I think of tuning in. I think of being a channel. I think of gleaning divine guidance in some way. So let's not overlook that as something that we can experience too. I know 9 of Pentacles is very material and very physical and very of the world, but I think a lot of the messages that we receive from guides and from deities and from cosmos, right, come through interacting with natural phenomena and through being in stillness, through being in bodily and mental stillness, through giving ourselves those little kind of like pauses in the ongoing mad drama, the crazy shambolic theatre of this reality. When we say, hey, pause, stop, lean into, be calm and just give myself access to something. That's often when we can notice the signs. We can take heed of what is being said. I think it's really powerful that we could sort of remember with 9 of Pentacles that, like, oh, you know what, when I give myself a 9 of Pentacles moment, that's also often when I can pick up my answer phone messages. It's like the divine has been ringing off the hook. And finally, I get my opportunity to pick up my messages, to really listen to what has been said for the last bit of time that I haven't checked in with. I haven't checked my voicemail for ages, right? So check your voicemail, check your cosmic voicemail in those moments too, when you give yourself access to those sort of pauses, those sacred pauses and that simplicity. All right, my darlings, there is one more card to go in this Tea and Tarot episode. Let's find out what it's going to be. I'm very curious. I want to thank you for being here with me today. It's certainly been useful and clarifying for me so far. So the final card for this Tea and Tarot episode today then is, let's find out, how can we connect with ourselves and our strength and our well-being whilst trying to deal with this burning, terrifying planet. The card that's come through is Page of Pentacles. So we have another Earth card here, this time from the Court, Page of Pentacles, and I'll show you the cutaway for this card right now. You can see ever such an epic hairstyle there and an amazing outfit, and the key words there are talent, skill, money. Talent, skill and money for Page of Pentacles. So we're really thinking about material potential there. We're thinking about what can be brought in terms of what you want to achieve and what you're capable of and what your key skills are in the material realm. So this is a really beautiful card to finish things up today, and I love seeing this particular card, this particular page come through. So this card is making me think about our individual key skills, what we have to bring to our effort and our activism, how it is that we are going to show up as individuals. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I've been seeing a lot of things and reading a lot of things online about how creatives can show up and how whenever you're engaged in your creative pursuits, you can be thinking about how that links to your collective work and it links to your sense of concern about what is going on collectively. So what is going on, in other words, outside of your own personal issues, your own personal bullshit, right? Which of course is important to deal with. And of course it's important to be involved in that, to be a part of that. But your creativity, your skill set, whatever it is you can bring to the table, can also be a part of your collective work. So I've been thinking about how that really factors in for me. for a few months now, and I've done this in the past too, but for a few months I've really amped it up. I've been trying to reach out to people that I feel like obviously could do with a complimentary spiritual counseling session. People who are really kind of very involved and very sort of very immediately personally affected by what is going on in Palestine in particular, that I've wanted to reach out to and offer my services to. So that's something that I've been doing that I think is very Page of Pentacles, in that it takes a material skill set that I have, something that I can provide, something that is practical, and it sort of directs it along my collective action avenue, right? So when I'm thinking about how I want to be showing up collectively, Page of Pentacles would be, well, how do I use my skill? How do I use my talent? How do I use the key way in which I can be productive? Another way is thinking about how I can be creative in the way that I write about and present my ideas about the things I care about, right? So, you know, I know that for me, part of my Page of Pentacles-ness is around the way that I use words, the way that I use language, the way that I interact with my ideas and then explain my ideas. That's an area of potential for me. That's always been an area where I'm stronger, right? There are areas where I'm not as strong. I'm not really as strong in community organizing, right? I'm very much a supporter of community organizing. I'm not so much ever on the fore. I'm not really to the front. I have been from time to time, but not really so much. I know that I'm more of an expressive activist than an instrumental activist, if you will. So I tend to allow, you know, the Capricorns of the world and whatnot, you earth sign babes, to do your thing, and I will show up at the appointed time and I will do what needs to be done. If you want me to carry something, if you want me to do something, I'll do that. But I'm not really a delegator and bringer together of people. I don't really like organization in that sense. That's not a Page of Pentacles area for me. But if it's going to come to language, if it's going to come to creativity, if it's going to come to alerting my audience to somewhere that they can donate for a friend of mine who has family in Gaza, who is from the Gaza Strip, a friend of mine, a particular Palestinian friend of mine who I met at a festival, and the reason we met was because I was wearing my kufiya, and he like bounded over to me and was like, "Are you Palestinian?" "I'm Palestinian." And I was like, "I'm not, but I'm fucking pro-Palestinian, baby." And that's how we met, right? So if I can alert people to the fundraiser for his family, if I can get people involved there, that's very Page of Pentacles. That is the rubber meeting the road, those kinds of things, where I can look at, what have I got? What can I do? What am I good at? What are my skills? What kind of resource do I have that I can bring to this? And also, what is it okay that it's not my area, right? Like, I'm not as good at that. I can't really do that, you know? I can't do anything really to do with like maths or adding up or organizing things or anything like too time related, I guess, in a way that is to do with community organizing or like whatever. I'm not as great as at those things. I'm not as great at a lot of things, but doesn't matter. Where's my Page of Pentacles-ness, right? So your Page of Pentacles energy when it comes to your activism is to know, what's my lane and how do I get into it? And how do I say, this is my lane, this is what I'm good at? It could be that you're really good at listening to people. It could be that you're really good at giving comfort to people. It could be that you're really, really a visualizer and you're great at being able to solve problems or strategize or troubleshoot or whatever. It could be that you just have a particular skill set, whether it's graphic design, whether it's accountancy, whether it's fundraising, whether it's whatever it might be, that you really want to give to a cause that you're interested in. You would like to offer pro bono your services in some way. You know, that's where you really see, okay, this is where I'm materially quite useful, where I can be quite good. This is kind of where I have the edge, and I don't have the edge in these ways, and that's fine, because I know what kind of difference I can make, and I know what kind of difference someone else can make. I'm honoring my signature strengths, and I'm letting other people have theirs, and I'm honoring theirs, and I'm showing up to kind of like hold a torch to theirs and be respectful of what they're good at, and I'm over here doing what I'm good at. So I think it's really about not pressuring yourself to be fucking everything and to do fucking everything, right? Because no one can do that. Everybody has their own way of showing up. So whereabouts is your Page of Pentacles energy when it comes to anything collective that you're concerned about? Anything going on in the world that you're concerned about? How do you turn up? You know, like, what is the thing that you do that you feel like you're pretty good at? that you feel accomplished when you do it. You feel like it's your instinct to do it more. And then just be appreciative of how other people's instincts show them to turn up. And be like, oh, that's interesting. That person is really good there. I'm not as good there. That's okay. That's cool. I'm fine with that, you know? So, my darlings, with Page of Pentacles, it's about knowing your gifts, knowing your skill set, knowing where you're already on your own edge or you're moving towards that kind of strength in that area. And it's about, okay, that's where it is for me. How can I use it practically today? How do I take my knowledge of that ability from just being in my head to somehow like easing out into material reality, you know? So what do you have? What do you have? If you have a bit of money at the moment, make a donation. If you have an audience, say something, mobilize them, start a conversation with them, comfort them, challenge them, educate them, whatever it might be. You know, if you have some way to help or to comfort or to be a part of community organization, do that. If you have the ability to protest, do that. You know, like really think about, okay, whereabouts do I have something that I can do? And let me do that thing. And the other thing, the thing that really challenges us with Page of Pentacles is don't worry about the rest. There is no one person that's supposed to be good at all of the things you could do for collective liberation, for change, for justice, for fairness, for peace. We're all different. We're all different. And it's okay to witness like, yeah, you know what? I have some areas where I'm not so strong. Not going to get hung up on that. What's my thing? You know, so I think that also gives us permission to shine where it is we're meant to shine and to really honor where other people can shine and be like, wow, that's really fucking cool. That's really awesome that they did that. Instead of feeling like I should have done that. I should have been the one. You know, I've been reading a lot lately. It's really interesting. I wish I could say where I first picked up this idea from, because it's definitely not my idea. Like a lot of shit that I talk about is just, it's not my idea. And I try to quote people where I can or say where I got things from. But in this instance, I sadly cannot. But I was reading recently, it's in my my Palestine reels, my highlights, Palestine highlights on Instagram. Somebody was saying that it's a really individualistic Western perspective to feel like there's no point in doing anything because you can't change anything. You're not going to be able to change it, so why bother? That is so Western, colonialist, white savior hangover nonsense. No one person is going to be able to change fucking anything. That's not the point. It's almost like saying, if I can't be the hero, what's the point of being part of the story? I'm not going to be the hero. I'm not going to be the one to do it. So I'm just going to check out. I'm just not going to do anything. No one person is trying to be the hero. We all need to turn up. That's the whole point. It's going to be a collective effort. And this idea that like, I can't change anything, so why bother? It looks like apathy, and it looks maybe to some people like realism, but actually it's this sense of self-aggrandizement. It's egoic. It's saying, well, if I can't be the one that everybody looks at and says, oh my God, you did the best, you changed it all, then I'm not going to do it. There's no point. And when you go into that area of things, you fundamentally lost the plot, and the plot is more important than perhaps it's ever been right now. Which is that like you're not single-handedly going to change the tide on climate disaster. You're not single-handedly going to stop any awful violent situation that is occurring with any against any group of people. You're not single-handedly going to be able to do anything. You're not supposed to be shooting for that. If you're shooting for that, you've lost your grip. And so let Page of Pentacles urge you to think about how you are going to bring something to this thing that everyone's bringing something to. Rather than to be like, well, I can't be the one to solve the equation. I can't be the one to press the stop button on this. I can't be the one to make it better, so why bother? That's your ego talking. And let's get our egos out of the driver's seat with this and go into what we really know to be true at that sort of higher and deeper and broader level, which is that we all are called to be involved in this. And it's not going to be any one person that originally makes it all okay. You know, it's collective work. Darlings, thank you so much for being here for this episode of Tea and Tarot. I have really needed it, and I hope it's given you all something as well if you needed it. Don't forget to visit my online store if you want to work with me one-on-one. And for the next few days, as I said, I will put my True Card Slinger tarot reading on sale, although I think the prices of all my readings are pretty reasonable. So if you want to go and have a look through, I have a lot of different options. Thank you so much for your company. I really love doing these. Let me know down below anything and everything that you thought, you know, if something came up for you in relation to a specific card, let me know that as well. And let me know, how do you cope with those days where you just do feel useless and scared and sad and lost and hopeless? Let me know. We could all do with some more tips and tricks. Much love, my darlings. Until next time, blessed be. Mwah.